All right, my name is Cat Shades, the heavy metal picker. I'm chilling out here with Gus Rios, who's been in a million bands. But we're gonna start with Left to Die because I'm sure that's what he wants to plug the most at this moment. Now, whose singular idea, who made the first move for Left to Die?
Rick Ross did, actually. He messaged me on Facebook saying, hey man, give me a call. You know, we knew each other prior to this or whatever. And I thought he was going to ask me to play drums on something he's working on or whatever. And first thing he said is he goes, hey man, I watched that live stream for the spiritual healing thing, and I immediately went, yep, I'm in. Because I figured, you know, the next thing he was going to say is, hey, let's do the same thing for Leprosy. Leprosy being my favorite death metal of the whole genre album of all time. It's like Rain and Blood and Leprosy are my two top favorite records ever made. So, no brainer. You know, then the next day we spoke with Terry. Terry was on board, and you know, Matt was shoo-in like me. So, yeah. Thankfully, Rick decided to call us.
Okay, so with this lineup here, you're recording an EP?
I mean, that's the idea. I don't know when it'll get done because, you know, just schedule and constraints. Terry has an Inhuman Condition tour with Deicide coming up. Obituary in South America. Obituary with Amon Amarth and Carcass. New Gruesome record needs to get written and recorded at some point. So, and honestly, right now, everybody just wants to hear Leprosy. So, what's the point of even, you know, let's just do what people want, and then sometime next year we'll hopefully revisit that idea.
So you covered the next two questions of what I was going to ask, which is you've got a limited pool of material with the first, you know, couple Death albums. If you're going to, you know, continue to be a Death tribute act, I'm not sure how you would mix that up some more, perhaps mixing up old demo tracks and stuff like that.
You know, we can give the world a go around playing Leprosy, you know, South America, Europe, USA, which would eat up most of 2023. And then at that point, and we still have to do the West Coast of the United States. You know, I love Scream Bloody Gore. I would love to do that in its entirety, and then just a few, you know, Leprosy tunes here and there or something. So that's another avenue that, you know, because honestly, I'm having a ton of fun playing the Scream Bloody Gore songs. Like, they're fucking amazing. So that's an idea / option. So, you know, none of us are spring chickens, so we try to not go more than a year or two in the future, because you never know.
All right, let's move on to Kill Division. I enjoyed hearing what was released so far, but who the hell thought up the name Kill Division? Come on, guys.
Me, actually.
Great job, Gus.
Because at the time, not even at the time, currently as well, I feel like the United States is faced with the biggest level of division since probably the Civil War. And I just thought that word was real strong to me, and it was, you know, grind division, blast division, like all of these things. And I don't know, one day I thought of Kill Division. I know there's a band that had a record out like 10 years ago.
2013.
9 years ago. No longer active, so we all kind of decided, hey, you know, the name's pretty cool. Fuck it.
All right.
Let the music speak for itself, really.
Who's the primary lyricist in this band? You or Gus? I mean, you or Kyle. I'm sorry.
Both of us, actually. Okay. I wrote maybe half of it, and he wrote the other half.
Okay.
So, you know, and again, everything. This was my first time doing grindcore, and what I like about it is it's more honest in a way than death metal, because death metal's a lot of horror and fantasy. This record's 100% like real shit happening right now today. So that was cool to do. lyrically is to, in my opinion, the record says something. It has something to say.
Awesome. All right, now how likely or unlikely are live performances from Kill Division?
Dude, the problem, Kyle and I are foaming at the mouth to do it. Finding a drummer that can play Dirk's flawless, amazing parts.
You?
No, I'm the guitar player in the band.
Okay.
And, quite honestly, these days, I play guitar 95% more than I play drums. I make a living as a guitar player. Honestly, I started off as a guitar player before I became a drummer, so I want to play guitar in this band. I wrote all the fucking songs, so but I am a bit scrutinous when it comes to drummers, so I'm not gonna cut corners and just get somebody that can sort of do it. I'm gonna get somebody that can really do it. So fingers crossed. Hopefully, I'm hoping the record. In a perfect world, the record grows some legs, people really like it, and the demand is enough that I could just hire somebody good to do it,
All right, well, you covered my next question about Dirk. All right, what did you do during the early stages of the pandemic? Did you have enough toilet paper?
Yeah, my girlfriend luckily was way ahead of the curve on hoarding toilet paper, so we had plenty to go. And I was doing that, the GUS and Seth Metal Show thing on the Sick Drummer page, literally just to keep myself from going insane, man. It gave me and him, and apparently I've spoken to a lot.
Of the GUS and Seth recordings that you did, which one's your favorite?
The Metallica one was a lot of fun because we had a vocalist come in and a bass player. So that was a full band. I really love the Gore Guts, Bolt Thrower, Sinister thing we did, which I think consequently was maybe the last one we did. So that one was a lot of fun. They were all, it's so weird to think back to that time and that's everybody was home. Everybody was home, and me and my buddy Seth were out there. Just trying to keep us from going crazy and hopefully helping everybody else out a little bit along the way, in the spirit of metal.
Excellent. You also sing and play guitar in Union Black. That is a cover band that is metal oriented. What songs have you not yet recorded for this band that you would like to?
I actually have a whole bunch of Depeche Mode songs already started. I got bass, drums, and guitar done. But I just figured, since I'm financing the whole thing myself, let me just stick with, the first 10 songs. And again, put it out, see if people pay attention to it, if people care. If it's, because it's interesting. It's not really that novel of an idea. Jazz artists have made a living for decades going out and playing standards, you know what I mean? They go out and they play other people's songs, reinterpret it as their own, which is what Union Black is. It's a cover band, but all the songs are completely reimagined as, to be metal, so they sound fairly different. Hopefully same thing. When I get home from this, I got to focus on that, get that thing released. Hopefully people like it enough and I can record some more of it,
Okay, you also recorded the Information Society cover with your other cover band, Gin and Tonics.
Yep.
I must say, I like the one with Union Black far better. In fact, I once listened to it 100 times in a row. Thanks a lot. What do you think about the differences between those two recordings?
Well, it's really just clicking the dial. If this is metal and this is the Information Society straight synth pop version, instead of going full metal, I just dial it back to being a rock band. So all you're doing is turning down the gain on the guitars, playing more full chords instead of power chords. No double bass, no drum samples, any of that stuff. But the vocals are exactly the same. it's just more of what I listen to a lot of that kind of stuff, believe it or not. People would be surprised to hear maybe that, I don't listen to metal and death metal 24 hours a day. I listen to a ton of shit. And, and honestly, a lot of that too was finding a drummer for the Union Black thing is incredibly difficult, because I need a guy that can play metal, like double bass, but can also play simple. Kind of like the Left to Die thing, you know what I mean? Like Bill Andrews' drum parts, very simple, but if you overplay, it won't sound right. It'll sound like a different band. So, a lot of metal drummers aren't aware that, you should be in my opinion anyway, you should be a musician who plays drums, not a drummer. You know what I mean? Like a musician who plays drums is very aware of the other people in the band, and, your main objective is to serve the song and present it to people as best as possible. So finding a drummer for Union Black has been difficult, but I've already found a drummer for the Gin and Tonics. I already got a bass player and a guitar player. We already shot a video. Like, that's something I can get off the ground with much more ease. So I'm actually going to focus squarely on the Gin and Tonics when I get home. And in my periphery, I want to get the Union Black record out, because it's totally done. Push the Kill Division, because that actually gets officially released September 23rd. And do a Gruesome record at some point in time in that, and figure out when we could do more Left to Die dates. So yeah, man, I'm spreading myself pretty thin, but that's what I do.
All right. Which member of Left to Die gets the most groupies?
None of us. Matt's married, Terry's married. I'm, been with the same girl for 7 years. I think Rick's been with the same girl for like 15, for like a while. So, none of us really.
Well, that's unfortunate. Now, to reflect on your earlier comment about overplaying the death parts, I listened to again to the Sickness Leprosy cover, and I noticed there was a lot of blasting in it.
Yeah, well,
and that is that what you're referring to about overplaying Bill Andrews' parts?
Well, that was, I recorded that when
I'm assuming you're not going to do that tonight.
No, of course not. No, I'm playing record album spot on, just like the spiritual healing thing. I wanted people to walk away from that going, oh my God, I feel like I just heard that record live. You know what I mean? Again, it's bigger than me, you know what I mean? Like, this isn't about, no one's coming here to see Gus Rios play drums. People are coming here to hear Leprosy in its entirety with Terry Butler and Rick Ross. They're the real stars of this show. And I'm just sort of playing the supporting role, It's an important role, but you have to know your place in it. And, oftentimes you don't see that in not just the metal community, man. A lot of musicians overplay, a lot. So I try to not do that.
All right. Now we're going to get to Malevolent Creation. Don't worry, I'm not going to ask anything outrageously stupid. Now, okay. Now, I recall you asking this question earlier on Instagram about how I saw an interview with you in 2007 saying there would be no more tours like this in 15 years because we're getting too old. It's now 2022, 15 years have passed. What do you have to say about that statement as you reflect back?
I obviously eat my words. But the hourglass is tipped, man. Terry and Rick are in their 50s. All the dudes in Obituary are in their 50s. Matt and I, which are the generation just beneath them, we're in our mid to late 40s. Another 10, 15, realistically, I don't know. But, I was wrong then. But, time is not on our side in reality. So, I think as long as we physically can and as long as people still come. What's interesting, man, is I will say on these Left to Die shows, tons and tons of kids. Tons of kids who obviously weren't even alive when death was active. So this gives them an opportunity to live through something that you know, that obviously can't otherwise. So, you know, I'm no Nostradamus, but I was wrong then. I may be wrong again. Who knows?
All right, you co-wrote all these albums with Malevolent Creation, but you didn't receive writing credit. How exactly did that work?
Not to my pleasure, to be honest, but it is what it is. I look back at my time in that band as you know, overall positive, because quite frankly, it's what landed me here. You know what I mean? Like, it definitely, I met a lot of people, you know, through Malevolent. I became actual friends with all the bands that I grew up listening to. Like, all the Obituary guys are like my good friends. I love them dearly. Guys in, you know, Unleashed, you know, those dudes are my buddies, man. Like, and it landed me here, so I don't really have anything terrible to say about I feel fortunate that I was in that band. You know, all the bullshit aside, you know, I'm grateful. So, you know, and I toured with Brett Hoffman a bunch. You know, that alone is pretty awesome. So.
All right, reflect back on Upon Infliction. As much as I like Kyle Simons, my favorite song on that album is the instrumental Dark Path.
Dude, you know what's interesting about that? That was just me trying to be like Death-ish, you know what I mean?
Human
like,
era Death, I'm assuming.
Totally.
Yeah.
So, you know, and obviously this is all way before, you know, Gruesome, you know, that wasn't even obviously anywhere near anyone's radar back then. So it's all very interesting to me that this is where I've ended up, you know what I mean? Like, I was thinking about it actually this morning. I was like, man, I'm like in the death business. Like, Gruesome is obviously a unique death tribute band because we write our own songs, sort of. I mean, we write our own songs, but they're obviously very strongly based on stuff that's already been written, so it's not original at all. But, you know, to go from that, so I did the spiritual healing shows, and now I'm doing the leprosy shows, and now the next Gruesome record's going to be like the human record. Yeah, looking back to the Upon Infliction thing, it's you know, very interesting to find myself here, and a lot of that, tons of it, was thanks to Sean Reiner. You know, on so many levels I can't even begin to say why. You know, like, that guy is the most important figure in my life, you know, so I owe a great deal of this to him.
Rest in peace, Sean Reiner. Okay, here's another quote you made in the MySpace era. All right, you said that you were going to join a band in California called Mantis, and you were leaving Florida and never coming back. Reflect back on this statement.
Dude, at that time, I had just gotten out of broke up with this girlfriend that I didn't realize it at the time, but after we broke up, I was like, holy shit, I was really in love with her, and I was not in the greatest place. That band needed a drummer, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna get out of Florida and everything that reminds me of her. Moved to California. I did 1 or 2 tours with that band. You know, it was fine, it was cool. Didn't work out. I moved into like Hollywood. My phone kept ringing for work in Florida. I'm like working a day job at Sam Ash, which I hadn't worked a day job in years and years. So I was just like, you know what, man, I'm gonna go back home. And you know, you life is about, you know, fortune favors the brave, man. If you don't take a risk, you're never gonna know. So, you know, moving to California is definitely part of my story. Like, I did it. I you know, I wasn't failing. Like, I was paying my bills and I was getting by. But, you know, like I said, my phone kept ringing for work in Florida, and I finally was like, yeah, I'm not doing this. I'm going home.
Next to Sickness and any other bands you've been in, what recordings have you supposedly lost of all the bands you've been in that you wish you still had?
There's a Sickness something. I forget what it was, but it was grind as shit. Tons and tons of blasting.
How many songs were on this?
Man, I 8 or 9. It was like a whole record. Some of that stuff, I will say.
What year would this have been recorded?
I don't even remember. But
2000?
a lot of it did end up as the Upon Infliction first album. But it was a whole album of stuff. We recorded it with...
Did you play guitars?
I can't even remember. Yes, I may have.
I think I know where to get these. I think I know where to get these recordings.
Kyle supposedly has.
I have them.
You really have
Yes,
them?
I do.
Well, then you need to email me that shit.
Well, maybe we can do a trade if you can get me the original versions of you recorded Damage Incorporated and
I don't know, dude. I would have.
And
I don't have that.
all right.
I haven't even heard that. Like, is it on YouTube?
No, I tried bugging Sergio for it.
I don't think he has it either.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'll dig through my own vault.
Yeah,
And
so, I mean,
I found this, and this survived many years.
I don't have that shirt.
All right, we'll work on getting all this together. All right, now let's see. Why did you bother to re-record 2 songs that were originally on the Sickness album, Ornaments of Mutilation, onto Plague? Sure, they were faster, the musicianship's tighter, but I'm not sure if it was overall better.
Well, you know, you got to think. It's, you know, and a lot of bands do this. And it's hard for people that aren't in the band to like maybe understand it. But of course, you finish recording something, you're like, fuck, man, I could have totally done that better. And in particular, Ornaments of Mutilation was right when I'd started taking lessons with Dave Coolross. So I was.
So first you took, hold on. First you took lessons from Dave Coolross,
Yeah.
and then Sean
And
Reiner?
then Sean.
Okay.
And if it wasn't for that, Sean would absolutely not have taught me, because you know, to study with someone like Sean, you had to be at a certain level. Like otherwise, like what's he gonna do with you? Dave was the one that, like, you know, man, turned me inside out and was like, hey man, your foundation sucks. You hold your sticks totally wrong. You sit, like, he was just like, dude, page 1 rewrite. And Ornaments of Mutilation was on my journey, but you know, I did get to a point where I was playing way better, and there was just a few songs on that record that we would play live that I'm like, dude, they sound so much sicker now. And you know, again, you're the guy in the band. Obviously, fans may not feel that way. Like when I think Testament went and re-recorded the Second Strike is Deadly or whatever it was called. I like the originals better, but I'm sure they listen to the re-recordings of it and go, man, that sounds so much better. So, you know, at some point as a musician and as an artist, you do have to sometimes do some things because you want to. So, you know, of course, you don't have to listen to it. If you like the old version better, then just listen to the old version. Easy fix.
All right. Have you ever been arrested? You got to think about it, huh?
I do, because I've had run-ins with the law, but I don't think I've ever been really arrested. No, I've been, you know, put in the back of a cop car a couple of times. But
So no embarrassing mugshots? I'll find them. If they're out there, I'll find them.
Kyle would obviously have access to
But
them.
that would be abuse on his part. So.
But yeah, no, man. You know, luckily, dude, I don't drink. I don't do drugs. Haven't for a long time. Like, I'm kind of like a.
What's your sobriety date?
I mean, I smoke a little bit of pot here and there, but otherwise, you know, I did a lot of out drinking and, you know.
Have you ever smoked crack?
No.
I have. It's pretty good.
Yeah, never smoked crack, never did heroin. Did a lot of blow when I was in my early 20s.
South Florida there. Have you ever done flocka? That's a thing. Oh, that's good.
No, man. I never, and even the times that I did coke, I never was like, oh my God, we need more. It was always kind of like, you know, you're so drunk you need to drive home, so you do a bump to fucking snap out of it and get home. But I never like loved it, to be honest. I never did. And even now, like, I haven't smoked pot today yet. I don't know that I will, because we have to play early. you know, I'll go months and months and months and months without smoking any weed, and I'll go a year without drinking. So, yeah, man, I'm kind of a fucking boring dude, to be honest, man.
All right, your bucket list. What's on your bucket list?
I would like to play these Leprosy songs at the big European festivals. I would love to do a European tour with Union Black. I mean, to be totally honest, man, in my hearts of hearts, if I could rub a genie's lamp and be like super successful with any one band, it would be Union Black. That's like what I really, really, really want to do. So those two are bucket list. I'd like to go to Hawaii with my girlfriend on vacation. I love Hawaii. And skateboard with Tony Hawk.
All right, assuming that both of you are still young enough to do all that.
Hey, dude, he still totally rips. And he just broke his leg and he's back skating again. That dude's a machine.
All right. Now you got a day off between this date in Cleveland and Columbus. What will you do in that time other than mess around with your car's various vehicles' various maintenance issues?
I mean, honestly, I don't know how far is it from here to?
2 hours.
Oh, okay. So then probably check into a hotel, get food. You know, I haven't watched the news in 2 weeks. So I don't know.
You're not missing anything.
I'm sure I'm not missing anything good. That's really it, man. Nothing super. The highlight of the day will be finding a nice restaurant to go eat at. Like I said, dude, I'm boring, man.
Are there any projects of yours that I would miss that you would like to plug? I just studied some Meat Flag and stuff like that earlier today.
Yeah, the Meat Flag is a thing that I do with this pro skater for Creature Skateboards named Sam Hitz. We became friends because he interviewed me for Thrasher magazine, which was another fucking super career highlight. I'm a big skater still. I refuse to grow up, obviously. And we just became friends, and he sent me riffs. I think the guy writes great riffs, and it's that crusty, nasty, you know, kind of hardcore-y crust punk stuff. I love that stuff. And it's real easy, man. He just sends me tracks, I record drums, and it's like, it's supposed to sound kind of shitty, so it takes me like an hour to turn it around. So it's just fun. But, you know, that's not really like, I think the things I really want to push would be the Kill Division, because that's about to come out, so I definitely want that record to grow legs. You know, and I really would hope that I can find a label that'll take the risk on Union Black, kind of like Relapse took on Gruesome, because Gruesome on paper sounds like a ridiculous idea. Like, so you're a death tribute band, but you're gonna completely rip them off writing your own songs? Like, dude, that makes no fucking sense. But it worked, and I think the Union Black stuff will work too. Everybody that's heard it likes it. So, you know, that's in my dream of dreams, man. That turns into something.
All right, last question here. Did you get COVID yet?
Twice.
How did that go?
First time almost killed me, so it sucked. Second time it wasn't shit.
All right. That's all I got, Gus, unless you have something you want to add.
Oh man, thanks for
Perfect.
Thanks for the interview, dude.